Well, I've done something crazy, and just for one job, by the way, I rigged my ZV-E10 Mark I out to be a full like cine camera, box camera build type of thing. Let's take a look at it. Hey everyone, welcome back to Zero Gravity. So I rigged this ZV-E10 Mark I out for, again, like just for one job, to look kind of like a Cineback or the Rigid Pro kind of stuff. It's a box type of build that I've done here, and you know, I have this camera here. That's why I'm filming with my iPhone. So if the footage looks weird, you know that. So look, I know that this is unnecessary, and I know this is kind of like dumb, and I'm not gonna act like it's reasonable or there's a reasonable explanation for this. But my reasonable explanation for this would be this. I got hired to do a job, which I'm going to talk about once it's, you know, finalized and once I can publish a video about it. But it's an event launch. It's just an event launch, and I'm filming a couple of like interviews and a couple of B-rolls and like statements in the process. And we want like in my pitch too, we want like a handheld look, and we wanted to rent an FX30, which was not available. An FX3 was way too expensive for what it is, and we wanted to get an A7 IV, but it was then too expensive for them, and they said, you know, could you just bring your own equipment? Which I was like, okay, I can, which, you know, I am aware of my capabilities, of my talent with the ZV-E10, and I know that I can do that. But the thing is, the handheld look, like that's gonna be a bit of a problem, because like the handheld look just fits into the story of that, and the tripod look does not. And it's a ZV-E10. I always talk about this. The biggest problem with this camera is the lack of stabilization and the awful rolling shutter, which results in the handheld being near unusable if you don't do a lot of like, I mean, you can just make it usable, but you have to do a lot of stuff for it to be usable. And I thought, okay, I can rig this out, and that would solve that little problem. It would also not solve the problem of lack of lights in the situation, but now you can jump into the timestamps here to take a look at the rig if you want to do that, but I'm going to talk about a couple of things first. First of all, this rig completely has cost me around 500 euros, which is way too much for this camera. It's not like you buy these things and then you can, you know, it's going to get rid of it, or you can use it for another camera as well. So it's not a big problem. But the thing is, not for this camera. Okay, I've written some stuff down. For 500 euros, you can buy one Amaran 200X with a softbox attachment and a light stand. Plus, you can buy one Amaran 60D and the price included with the 200X and a stand, maybe a stand. So with 500 euros, you can get two really good lights with stands and softboxes. So this really does not make a lot of sense, and I'm talking myself into sending this back. Dude, if you have money to allocate towards your like gear stuff, go ahead and buy lights first, and then get a better camera, maybe a better lens, and then go ahead and rig it out. So the camera and the lens, the basis of this whole thing is the camera, which is the Sony ZV-E10, and the lens, which is the Tamron 17 to 70mm lens. And I have a K&F ND filter on this, like, if that makes a difference. The bare bones rig of this whole thing would be the Smallrig case on the camera and the Sirui Top Handle, which is the SCTHA. I can show you this. It's a really nice one. It's cheaper than the Smallrig alternative, and I really like it. Smallrig has the top a cold shoe in here, something like that, which I think would have been more useful, but I think it's really good. I mean, the ergonomics is really pretty good. Other than that, you might want to get a side handle, which I think for box build, the side handle is pretty good, but you know, if I was just going camera cage and the top handle, I wouldn't go side handle. I don't really like that when it's just like, I don't know, I don't really like that, but maybe I will change that. This is also Sirui, by the way. This is the AMSHS, which is, I think, a really cool design because it has like the Allen key built into it. Pretty cool. Handles very nice. Okay, so that was the bare bones rig. I would count the Mattebox and the Cineback build, which the Mattebox is the Smallrig mini Mattebox. I did get a Mattebox not just because it looks professional, it looks cool. The event location is a location with a lot of like spotlights because it's like a bar and nightclub. So I'm gonna have a lot of flares. And you know, I love me a flare party, but not in the in this sense. It's a professional job, and that they don't want the, you know, the flare look. So I did get this so I can, you know, adjust the whole thing. And it also like gives the cool factor. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it gives a whole cool factor to the whole thing. And the biggest boy in here, like the biggest the hero of this thing, is the box build, which consists of before the battery of a couple of cheese plates, which is the Smallrig cheese plate, and Camvate base plates in here, and a NiceyRig base plate in there, and a Nitze V-Mount plate. Now, you might have seen this one because I got inspired to do this from the video of Caleb Pike, DSLR video shooter, and he has a really good guide on that. I'm just gonna link the video down below and the cards there, so you can check that out. It's a really good one, and I did like buy the whole things. He has another Nitze plate there linked, but I didn't link that. I didn't buy that. I just bought this one, which I'm gonna link everything down below, by the way, if you want to go ahead and buy this thing. And yeah, so in that guide, he says you're gonna have to try it out. Like, I'm not gonna disassemble this right now, maybe sometime in the future, but not right now. I mean, you're gonna have to try it out, but this plate and this top plate shouldn't be as high as he says because this camera is a bit shorter, but it should be fine. Like, it's not a problem at all. Here you have a, you can see that, dang it. Okay, it's just like a base plate. You can slide up and down, so it's not a problem at all. Other than that, the biggest part of it, the biggest boy in here, which was the biggest financial thing, was this Smallrig 99 watt-hour battery, which just goes in like this, and this boy becomes a fully functional boy. Now, this is pretty good. You don't need a whole V-mount adapter thing here because the Smallrig new batteries, which is also, I think this is from Caleb Pike's line too. It has USB-C, USB-A, a DC out, and a D-tap out, which is amazing because I do want to get a D-tap battery. It's on the way. It did not come right now. And because if I, keep the battery on with the ZV-E10 by using the USB-C, battery still drains itself. Like, it's not, like, it doesn't stay 100%. It just slows it down. It goes, I think, to like, I think I didn't do it anymore at 2 hours and 40 minutes. I think, I'm not sure, but it still does it. And you might want to, you can just do like, you can change the battery. That's a solution, but D-tap I think is a good one because I also want to use the USB-C for my monitor. My monitor is going to be my iPhone probably, or my iPad. I just have this newer monitor mount, and I'm going to be using that to hold my iPhone in place. And I'm going to be using the Monitor Plus app, which I talk about that app a lot. I'm going to be using that app to monitor everything, which just connects through USB-C to the camera. You can also do micro HDMI, but with the HDMI, there's some like weird stuff happening, and you can't really control everything and stuff like that. I don't know. I just have to try it out maybe a bit more, but I think the Monitor Plus app is a really good one. And it's good because my iPhone 12 has a Lightning to USB-C adapter, and I can charge the phone and use the USB-C to monitor everything, which is, I think, a good solution because a monitor would have cost me another 500 euros, which would put this thing over my budget. It's already over my budget. It doesn't matter. Let's talk about usability of this whole thing, which I think is a big thing. This is also why like the battery is pretty good. Like, if you don't have the battery and if you just have this kind of rig, it's still like, it's balanced okay, but like when you have it, I don't know if I can just show you like this. You have the battery, it feels a little easier to use. It's a lot stable And again, like with a really like super light camera, you just get the micro jitters because you can't hold it like really good. And this really helps out with that. And again, that's the whole reason why I built this rig, other than the Mattebox. The whole reason is to get a good, reasonable handheld look. I mean, you can use this like this in your chest. You can even go something like this. I don't know, something like this. I don't know, you can just use it in a lot of ways. Other than that, we have to talk about it. It has a very big professional factor. Like, I'm doing a gig for people who have nothing to do with cameras, and when they see a rig like this, they think like, whoa, like it's professional. Unfortunately, it has nothing to do with my capabilities, with my talents. Of course, like in post-production, yes, but in that moment, it had nothing to do with that. They just see this and they think, whoa, it's amazing. If I just go there with a little ZV-10 and a top handle and a Tamron 77, they're going like, okay, I could have just gotten a photographer friend to do this whole thing too. Like, it doesn't work that way. We all know it, but it's the professional world. Unfortunately, it do be like that sometimes.
You be tripping.
As far as my final thoughts go, like, don't do this. This is really not smart, not for this camera. It's not like when you have the funds to do this, you can buy everything, because you can use it for every other camera too, of course, other than the cage. But you can use it for a lot of stuff. Like, this does a very specific thing, which is the stability and the cool factor maybe. But other than that, if you want to spend money, go ahead and buy lights, a lens, and a better camera maybe. And then after that, go ahead and do this. Please, just please. Start singing, please, please, please. Oh, this is where I sing. Please.